In this lecture, we are going to start talking about chapter 10, and chapter 10 talks about money. Now, everybody wants to talk about money, and who doesn't want to have money? So this chapter gives us a lot of information about money, and what are the functions of money, how the value of money is important, and it looks into various aspects of money. So before money was introduced, before money came into the economy, we had the barter system. So barter system in the past, in order to exchange goods and services, we had the barter system. So what barter system means is, basically when people exchange services and goods for other goods and services in exchange. So that's basically barter system. So let's say if I have a pen, but I need a notebook, then I will go to, let's say, Patrick, and I will give my pen to him, and in exchange I will get the notebook from him. So that's barter system. Okay, or let's say another example. Assume that Fernanda has 2 pigs and I have 1 cow, and I right now I need I you know right now Fernanda needs a cow because she needs to drink milk, so she will come and exchange her 2 pigs for 1 cow. Now this type of system is very primitive. It does not facilitate a market, and it's not very efficient at all. It's you will see this type of systems. There's barely this type of system anymore in this society. You may see in 1 or 2 rural areas, but it's very inefficient, and it does not facilitate market activity, right? Like if Fernanda is offering me 2 pigs in exchange for a cow, I might not need 2 pigs. It does not make sense. In that case, the transaction does not make sense. I will not be agreeing to exchange my cow for those 2 pigs if I don't need 2 pigs. So it does not facilitate market activity. Also, it was only on a limited area, maybe a village, maybe a rural areas, and people in long distance could not communicate or exchange goods and services, and sometimes it was very difficult to quantify maybe how much pigs you will need for 1 cow, or how much hens you will need for 1 cow, or how much chicken you will need for 1 cow. So the process to quantify this was very difficult, and as a result it was very efficient, and this ultimately led to the creation of money in the system or in the economy. In the past, like before paper money and coin money came into our economy, lot of different things were used as money. So some of the examples are given in the slide, like animal skins, like crocodile skin or a deer skin, and then animal teeth, seashells, they were also used as money. Then precious metals such as gold and coin, that's probably still applicable to some extent, because we have like silver coins, and then some nations have exchanged gold for some items. So yes, but those were also used as money at some point. Then tobacco, like during the colonial period, tobacco was used as a money. And then cigarettes during World War II, in some locations cigarettes was actually used as money. However, anything can operate as a money, or anything can function as a money, as long as these 3 basic characteristics or functions are present in a money. Okay, so anything, like if any item has these 3 basic functions, then they can be used as money. So what are these 3 functions? So if you look at the slide, the first function is it must be a medium of exchange. What it means is basically the money, everyone has to accept it as being money. So if I am giving animal teeth to someone to buy something, that person has to accept that. So everyone needs to accept the item as money, and in earlier times money was not available, and that's why they were using the barter system. So acceptability under the medium of exchange is the first function. Then the second function is called standard or unit of value. So money needs to have a standard or unit of value. So the value of a particular form of money is established and accepted within an economic community at a specific time. Let's say value is described in monetary units such as dollars. Like in the US, it's dollar. $1 With $1 we can buy so much of goods. With $20 we can buy so much of goods. So there is a value associated with dollar. Like a $1 bill has a $1 value. A $20 bill has a $20 value. And then in Germany or in Europe it's euros. Okay, so there has to be a unit as well as a value of that money. So that's the second function. And the third function is it must be a store of value. So when we hold this over a period of time, it must store value. Let's say if I keep $1 in a drawer or in a shelf for 3 years, and then I come back, it will still be $1. It will not function as 50 cents. It will not function. It will not become 50 cents suddenly, right? It will still be a dollar bill. It will not change. But if you think about animal skin or animal teeth, maybe if I preserve it after some time, it will start to rot and the value will not be there. But for paper money, it will still store the value of the money. So these are the three functions. Anything that meets these three criteria can function as a money. So medium of exchange, standard or unit of value, and it must function as a store of value. Now we can say, it preserves the value or functions as a store of value, but the purchasing power of money can go down over the years because of inflation. Now it can go up also because of deflation, but that's different. $1 still remains $1, but because over time price of goods have gone up, the purchasing power may go down. With $1 we can probably buy less goods now as you compare over the last 20 years. Okay, so purchasing power may go down or up for money based on inflation over time, but it is still a store of value. So when inflation is very low, people will hold more money, and when inflation is very high, people will spend more money. Okay, so money can be present in two forms. First form is called the commodity money. Commodity money is any item or any material that has intrinsic value, or intrinsic value means there is a hidden value to it. Okay, so whenever any type of money that has some intrinsic value, then it is called commodity money. Okay, so an example would be the metals, gold, silver, copper. These can be examples of commodity money. Okay, so again, if you compare, when I say it has a hidden value, think about this scenario. If once you get raw gold, it has one value, but when you process that raw gold into a jewelry or into a gold bar or into a coin, it has a different value, right? So there's two different values and there is an intrinsic value. That's why this is called commodity money. Okay, so the first form of money is called commodity money, and that can be, the coins that we have, because gold or silver in its raw stage can have a different value, but once they are converted into a coin or some type of jewelry, they will have a different value, and that's why it has intrinsic value, and that's why it's called commodity money. Now the second type of, or the second form of money is called the fiat money. Fiat money is more of the dollar bills that we have, like $1, $100, $50 bills. That is fiat money. And basically what fiat money means is that it has an item that has purchasing power value, and it has that value has been declared by the government. And this fiat money has no intrinsic value. So there is no hidden value. $1 is $1. There is no hidden value behind $1 that will become $2. No, that's not right. So fiat money is basically money that has a value declared by the government, and there is no hidden value added to it. Okay, and fiat money is also known as legal tender. So this is very important. You need to know legal tender and fiat money can be used interchangeably, and they mean the same thing. And what legal tender means is basically it is the official unit of money declared by the government for all transactions within a country. So basically the government has declared that this is the official form of money in order to exchange goods and services. And if you are making any payment using fiat money, someone has to accept it. Okay, if they don't accept it, then the interest will not accumulate. So that's fiat money. Commodity money is when metals, they have some values in one stage, and when we process them they have another value. Fiat money is basically the dollar bills we have, $1, $5, $10, $100, and they have the same value as it is declared by the government. There's no intrinsic value, and it is the official unit of money that you use to buy goods and services. Now, the purchasing power of money is very much determined by the government's control of the quantity of money supply. Basically in the economy, the government or the Fed controls the money supply, and that basically ultimately determines the purchasing power of money. So when quantity of money grows significantly faster than the quantity of goods and services, then we have inflation. Again, what that means is if the money supply is higher than the increase in the goods and services, then we have inflation, and the value of money decreases. Basically, the purchasing power of money decreases. In the US, the Federal Reserve is the primary manager of money for the country. Federal Reserve is the bank that issues coins and paper monies, and the supply of paper money is also replenished by the Federal Reserve. So basically, whenever if a currency, or if a dollar bill is torn and it's no longer in a usable condition, the Federal Reserve is the one that will replenish it and reprint it and circulate into the economy. And the average life of a paper currency, like a dollar bill or $10 bill, is 18 months. Now, we move on to slide 18, and this is very important. Money supply. When the government is supplying money into the economy and people have money in their hands, this supply of money can be classified into two forms, M1 and M2. Okay, so M1 is a narrow measure of money supply and consists of cash, coins, checking account deposits, traveler's check, any type of check, anything that can be easily converted, any cash or anything that can be easily converted to cash. That is M1. So it's a narrow measure of money supply, and it's basically the more liquid assets are considered M1. Again, checking account deposits. You can take out money anytime from checking accounts. Then traveler's check. Then coins. These are, or cash. These are all considered under M1. However, certain things that are not included under M1 is it does not include checkable deposits by Federal Reserve, U.S. Treasury, or the money that the banks keep in their vaults. These are not included in M1, so we have to remember this. Any checkable deposits or any checking accounts that the Fed might have, or the U.S. Treasury or like IRS might have, these are not included in M1. And if, you have seen probably Wells Fargo or Bank of America, they have a vault where they keep cash money. That cash money is not included in the money supply. So we must remember this. Now, 54% of M1 is currency and 46% is checkable deposits. So M1 is basically a narrow measure of a money supply, and it's the more liquid cash, money. Okay, then we move on to M2. So M2, the formula for M2 is given in the slide, is all of M1. So everything that's included in M1, that includes cash, checking accounts, traveler's checks, plus small time deposits. So plus savings account deposit. So under M2, savings account deposits will go, plus money market mutual funds. Now, under money market mutual funds, it basically means your investment funds, your retirement account funds, such as IRA. IRA funds will go under M2, the retirement, funds. Then 401k funds, those are investment funds. This will go under M2. Any type of money market account or any type of investment account will go under M2. Or as well as savings. So this is a broader measure. It includes M1 plus other stuff such as savings deposit, investment money, retirement money, insurance money. All these things go under M2, and that determines the money supply. So they are less less liquid, but a more broader measure. Now, a couple of things that are not included in M1 or M2 are, we first said, checking accounts held by Fed, not included. Then checking account held by IRS or US Treasury, not included. Then money held by commercial banks in their vaults, not included. Another thing that's not included are credit cards, because credit cards are not actual money. That's like a loan that the bank or the credit union is giving to you. However, if I am taking a loan from a bank, let's say I take a personal loan of $10,000 from Wells Fargo, and the money comes to my account, then that becomes part of M1, because now that money is in my checking account. So it becomes part of M1. So you have to understand that when a bank gives a loan and the money comes into the account, it becomes part of money supply. But credit cards are not included. So it's very important. You have to know what are included in M1, what are included in M2, and what we should not include in the calculation of M1 and M2. So let me do an example where I will give you different circumstances or different scenarios, and you have to classify those under M1, M2, and calculate M1 and M2. Okay, so let's do it, and you will have a similar type of problem in your homework as well as in your exam. So let's say we are given with this information. Okay, assume Sarah has $5,000 loan that she just got from Bank of America, and it's in her checking account. Okay, in checking account. That's the first statement. Then let's say Adriana has $50. Let me fix this. It looks like 80, sorry. But let's say she has $50 worth of traveler's check. Okay. Then let's say we do another scenario, and let's say David, he has $1 in quarters in his pocket. Okay. Then let's say Daisy, she has 1,200 in her checking account. Okay. Then let's say Charlie, he has $10,000 in his savings account. And let's say okay, so let's say Maya has $2,000 in her money market account. And finally, let's say Bank of America has 100,000 in their cash vault. So you are given with these information. You are given with these information. Now I ask you to calculate M1. What is M1? Okay, so again, based on the slides, we will try to calculate. M1 is a narrow measure that includes everything like checks, traveler's check, cash, and money in the checking accounts. So Sarah, she got a loan of $5,000 from Bank of America, and that money has come already into her checking account, right? So that's M1 because she already has the money in her checking account and it's part of money supply. So we will include that 5,000. Then the second, Adriana has $50 worth of traveler's check. Now traveler's check, again, that's very close. You can easily convert it to cash. So $50 is M1 because it's very liquid. So we will include that. Okay. Then it says David has $1 in quarters. So that's like coins. He has coins, so that should be included. So that's part of M1. So we include that. Then the next situation is Daisy. She has 1,200 in checking accounts. So again, this money is in checking account. She can take this money out anytime she wants. So it's very easily converted to cash. And so it's part of M1. So we will add 1200. The next statement is Charlie has $10,000 in savings accounts under, so we will not include savings account deposits under M1 because these are less liquid. We don't usually touch those unless we need to. So we will not include savings account under M1. Then the next one, Maya has $2,000 in her money market account. Money market account is a type of investment account and it is not included in M1. And then finally, Bank of America has 100,000 in cash in their vault. Now again, remember, if you remember, we do not include the cash in vault held by banks in the calculation of money supply. So this whole thing will not be included in either M1 or M2. So we will just ignore it. So that's it for M1. So that's all for M1. So if we calculate, so the total M1 in this case will be equals to 5,000 plus 50 plus 1 plus 1200, which is equals to 6251. That is the M1 money supply. Now my next question will be, what is M2? This is the broader measure. So this time we will calculate M2. Now remember the formula for M2. M2 includes everything in M1 plus savings plus investments or money market account, right? So we know M1 is equals to 6251. We already know that. We already calculated it. Then we take 6251 plus, then we take Charlie's $10,000 in savings. We need to add that because savings is a broader measure, so we will include that in M2. Then we will also include Maya's $2,000 in money market account, so we will include that. And remember, we will not include the cash in vault the banks keep either in M1 or M2. Also, if we have credit cards or if Feds keep checking accounts, those will not be included in M1 and M2. So based on this, M2 is equals to 6251 plus 10,000 plus 2,000, which is equals to 18251. So definitely you can see this is a broader measure than M1, which is 6251, because it includes more items such as savings and investments accounts. So that's how in a homework or in the exam I will probably give you statements like this, and you have to categorize them under M1 and calculate what's the total M1 or total money supply for under M1, and then you have to also classify them under M2 and calculate the total M2. So hopefully this example gives you a clear picture of how we calculate M1 and M2. If you have questions, email me. Okay, so then we move to slide 14. Basically, the Federal Reserve or the Fed monitors the money supply, whether it should go up or whether it should go down. This is controlled by the Fed. If they see the inflation is too much, they will probably lower the supply of money. If the inflation is low, they can increase the money supply a little bit. And again, this slide, if you see money held by banks as cash in vaults or deposit by banks with Feds, these are not considered part of money supply. So make sure you remember these. Another thing you need to remember is when banks make out loan. Again, well, if you look at the last example I was talking about, when Bank of America made a loan of $5,000 to Sarah and that loan comes to Sarah's account, then it's included in M1 and money supply goes up. So when banks are making loans to consumers or individuals, money supply is going up. Or when banks are making loans to businesses or individuals, money supply is going up. Now the opposite is also true. If I have a home loan and if I am making payments to my home loan and this payment is going back to the bank, and bank saves that money in the vault or in the deposits with Fed, the money supply will go down. So this is important. When bank makes out loans, money supply will go up. When people or when businesses make payments to the bank for their loan, the money supply is going down because the money is going out of the economy back to the bank, into the vault or into the checking accounts of the Fed. So that's why they are getting out of the economy and it's no longer part of the money supply, and therefore money supply decreases. Now, the value of money, this is also a very important concept, and this is given by three things. First is acceptability. We all have to accept the money as a money. If we don't accept it as money, it does not hold any value, right? If we are buying a Coke, let's say with $1, and if I give $1 to a grocery store, they will accept it as a $1. They accept it. If I give a piece of paper and I write $1 on it, they will not accept it, because this is not, there's no acceptability to it. So it must be acceptable and a medium of exchange that gives the money a value. Okay, then the second thing that gives money value is scarcity, right? If money was easily available, let's say in your room you had let's say out in your backyard you had a tree with the money as the leaves, then the money wouldn't have any value. We have easy access to money. We could have just taken out money from the tree and get anything we want. However, in reality we have to work hard. We have to work or provide goods and services in order to get money, and that's why money is scarce. So that's why it has a value, because money is hard to get. You have to work for it, you have to earn it. That's why it has a value, and that's why money is scarce, which gives its value. And finally, another thing that gives value to money is legal tender. Again, this is the official unit of money. The government has declared its value, and government has said that this is the official method of payment for any types of goods and services. So everyone has to accept it. Therefore, it gives its value. So three things gives value to money: acceptability, scarcity, and legal tender. Now, one last thing I wanted to talk in this lecture is about the value of money is, price level, like inflation, can have an impact on the value of money. And the value of money is given by total dollar value divided by the price index times 100. Just how we calculated other ways in order to find out, like GDP or income. The same way we calculated or in the same way we adjusted them for inflation, we do it for money as well. So let me do two examples so it's very clear to you. Let's start with a very simple example. Let's say we have $1, okay, and in 2010, and 2010 is your base year. Okay, so we are saying this is the base year. Now in 2011, prices have gone up by 10%. In other words, inflation is 10%. In 2011, it went up to 10%. So what is the value of $1? So what is value of this $1 in 2011? Okay, same way we first have to calculate the price index. Now remember, price index is given by 100 plus inflation. From our previous classes we know this, so we know 100 and inflation here is 10, so we have 110 is the inflation or as the price index. So we know the price index. Now the value of money in 11 is given by the nominal value, which is $1, divided by 110 times 100, and if you calculate that, that comes up to 0.91 cents or 91 cents. Basically, in 2011, because prices of goods and services have gone up by 10%, now with this $1, you can only buy goods and services worth of 91 cents. Basically the purchasing power of money has gone down because of inflation. That's what we are trying to show here. You still have a $1. If you did not spend it, you still have $1, but before probably you could have bought more goods as compared to 2011. Now you can only buy goods worth of 91 cents in 2010. Okay, so that's one example. Now I want to give another example. Let's say we are given with a table for money supply. We have 3 years. Assume we have 3 years: 2000, 2001, and 2002. Okay, and let's say we are given with national nominal money supply. MS means money supply. That's given by, let's say, 100 billion. in 2001 is 125 billion, and in 2002 is 140 billion. Assume this is base year, okay, and assume inflation in, let's say inflation in 2001 is 10%, and inflation in 2002 is, let's say, 20%. Assume, we are just assuming, and this information is given to us. Okay, now let's say the other columns in the table are price index and real money supply. You need to, given the information that I wrote in green, you need to calculate the price index for each year, and you need to calculate the real money supply in each year. Okay, now it's very easy to calculate. Again, it's very similar to what we did in regards to GDP or income. Okay, here we know 2000 is the base year. Okay, if 2000 is the base year, we always know in the base year the price index is going to be 100. This is from our previous classes. In the base year, price index will be always 100, meaning we are assuming that is the benchmark. We are using that as the benchmark of the, so there's no increase or decrease in prices. Okay, in this case, real money supply will be equals to, you take the nominal money supply 100 billion divided by your price index, which is 100, times 100, which is 100 billion. It's the same because this is the base year. Again, in the base year, nominal and real values are always equal. Okay, now let's look at the next scenario. In 2001, we know the nominal money supply is 125, but we are given in 2001 the inflation rate is 10%. That means price index will be 100 plus inflation, which is 100 plus 10, so price index will be 110, and in this case real money supply will be equals to, again, 125, which is your nominal money supply, 125 billion, divided by 110 times 100, which is equals to 114 billion. Okay, so that is the real money supply in 2001. Now we look into 2002, this year. Okay, we know in 2000 the monetary supply or the nominal money supply is 140 billion, and we also said that compared to the base year, the inflation has gone up by 20%. So first we calculate the price index. Price index is, again, we know it's 100 plus inflation, so 100 plus 20 is 120, and then we calculate the real money supply, which is in this case the nominal money supply is 140, so 140 billion divided by 120 times 100, which is equals to 108 billion. So if you see, the real money supply actually went down from 2001 to 2002 because the inflation rate was so high. You know, because these are the numbers that we should use for comparisons. The ones that I'm now circling with red, these are the numbers that we should compare over the years. So yeah, from 2001 to 2000, from 2000 to 2001, the money supply did go up by 14 billion, from 100 to 114. But if we compare from 2001 to 2002, the money supply actually went down by 6 billion, from 114 billion to 108 billion, because we always compare the real money supply, not the nominal. So this is another example how we can calculate the real value of money, because inflation does affect purchasing power of money. So with that, I'm going to end my lecture here today. From next week, we will look into other problems and get into the other chapters and try to finish up those chapters. And there's also a homework this week, so make sure you understand these lectures and the problems I just did in class, and then you will be able to answer the questions based on the lectures and the problems that I did. And the homework is actually due the following Tuesday. So you have a week from today, so make sure you do all these properly. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. Otherwise, that's it. You guys stay safe. Have a good night or have a good morning, and I'll be back soon. Bye.